Time is not a luxury that we have in the digital age. Businesses need to make the best possible decision in the shortest possible time. Also, the decisions that we make today should not be based on yesterday's situation awareness but on the here and now. We live in an age of data abundance. Business executives today have access to far more data than any previous generation of managers, and that transforms the way many business decisions are made. Decision making is also a matter of perspective. Economists have complex models that describe how people make financial decisions. Sociologists have frameworks that explain social behavior. Psychologists have their own models, and so on. Every one of these decision making systems sees the world in a different way, and none of these are straightforward enough to help you make better decisions in your everyday work and home life. Making good decisions really comes down to two things. One, asking the right questions, and two, understanding how much information you need before deciding. But in an era of limitless free information, how do you know when you have enough information? That's tricky business. Making good decisions is such an important and difficult topic that there are practically as many opinions as people expressing them. The lifelong research of Daniel Kahneman, the Nobel Prize winning economist, has found that people generally make one of two types of decisions. As he outlined in his book, Thinking Fast and Slow, people use two different approaches to decision making. Fast decision making is based on rules of thumb, past experiences, and untested assumptions. He calls these types of decisions System 1 thinking. Its advantage is that it is a fast way to make a decision. Its disadvantage is that it is not always the best way to make a good decision. System 1 thinking is most useful for decisions that are inconsequential or are easily reversed. In contrast, System 2 thinking is logical, evidence-based, and emphasizes rational analysis. You examine and test all your assumptions, weigh the various alternatives, assign probabilities to outcomes, and define the net benefit. System 2 gets you much closer to a quality decision, but at the expense of taking a lot of time and effort. System 1 and System 2 both have their costs and their benefits. The worst outcomes, however, occur when you misapply them. For example, you use detailed and exhaustive analysis for an inconsequential decision such as, should I have one more French fry? Or you use a simple rule of thumb for a consequential decision. For example, they say interest rates may be going up, better refinance now. So what do these diverse perspectives about decision making tell us? After all, they really seem to raise more questions than answers. How much do you know about the particular issue? Is this a casual decision or an irreversible decision? Do you have a lot of time or not much time? How much do you know and how much do you still need to learn? What does your gut tell you? What's important is what's in common between them, and that is information. And in today's digital age, information is a tricky subject. The internet gave us practically limitless access to facts and opinions. It did not, however, give us a filter to manage these facts and opinions. Without that filter, trying to decide anything using infinite data is an invitation to paralysis by analysis. Once upon a time, when decision making took place in an environment of scarcity of information, people had to be clever in finding the choice bits of data that were available. Today, we have to be clever about asking the right questions in order to avoid that deluge. Limited access to information made it expensive to spend the time necessary to get the information you might have wanted for the decision you needed to make. Before the internet, when you had to go to a library or a government agency to photocopy or transcribe information, it took you hours and it costed money. When you have access to that same information instantaneously at any time. It only takes as much time as it is required to cut and paste that information. So little time and virtually no cost. In standard economics, what happens when the cost of something goes down? Demand rises. Today, with the cost of information and data plummeting, the demand for it rises. But do we need that information? When is there too much information, and are there circumstances when we should cut back on that? Certainly not every choice requires a deep analysis. Just because information is cheap doesn't mean that we have to make everyday decisions into research projects. So what's the conclusion? Some significant long-lasting decisions need to be made within tight time frames. You might want to wait until you have better information, but circumstances require a prompt decision. How do you resolve this tension? By asking the right questions. Avoid overly broad and general questions. The right questions are those that are more likely to lead you to relevant, useful answers. Although they are more difficult to answer, questions with more specifics will generate more meaningful results. The more specificity you include in your question, the more opportunity you have to find the right answer and avoid getting stuck in information overload. The critical factor is time. Context and circumstances change at their own rate, and your decision making has to keep up. Information gathering and analysis take time, and if you wait too long, the moment has passed. At the end of the day, too much information slows you down and can cause you to delay making important decisions. The antidote is to accept ambiguity and risk. You can't know everything, but you can ask the right questions, explore relevant answers, and then pull the trigger on your decision with confidence. Hope you found this video useful. Drop us a like and don't forget to subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Thank you for watching.